call to order the council meeting for the city of Fulton, July 10th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Wendy.
Here.
Alderperson King.
Here.
Banker. Mass. Van Kampen.
Here.
Wilkin.
Here.
Boonstra. Brondike.
Here.
Berggraf.
Here.
Very good. And at this time, we say the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is at the front of the room. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll go on to recognize volunteers. We have none. So communication from visitors. Moby, would you like to speak at this time?
I'm here to find out what did you guys decide? Is there something I have to provide?
It's right
Okay.
there.
Hey, you guys call the shots then.
All right. Very good.
Road trip was nice.
There we go. We're going the other way right after the meeting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Presentations, we have none unless you...
These on the agenda.
Okay. Very good. We go on. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed in your packet.
So moved.
Support. Okay. And any questions? There's not really anybody here to answer, so we'll go on to roll call.
Alderperson King.
Yes.
Banker. Mass. Van Kampen.
Yes.
Boonstra. Wilkin.
Yes.
Berggraf.
Yes.
Brondike.
Yes.
Very good. With that, the motion has passed. We go on to number 8. That's business. And the only thing we have on tonight is I need a motion to approve the A1 liquor license for the Fulton Oil Mart. Hearing no motion, that we pass it up because of a lack of motion. It can come back on, but for tonight, it's not moving anywhere, okay? We go to the committee of the whole discussion, and the discussion item first up is Chip Nedling, and we would like to discuss the Clinton to Fulton MTA bus routes.
So you don't have to listen to me talk. I'd like to
there we
introduce
go.
you to Mr. Hart with Clinton MTA.
Very good. We got lots of pieces of paper here, so.
Yes, I provided that for you. Dennis Hart, City of Fulton Municipal Transit Administration. I'm the Transit Director. We were contacted a few months ago, back in March. I was on vacation. I think Chief Midland had contacted and asked some questions just about transportation. And so, anyway, fast forward, I have an area in town that we're not getting served very well, so I can't extend my routes out any further. So basically, we have to have a new route. And I had a couple of councilmen, City of Clinton councilmen come, and we had a meeting, and I think we're behind it. Basically, we're going to do a trial, whether the City of Fulton wants to get in on this at all. We're going to do a trial run. We're looking to do start Monday, August 21st through Friday, December 1st. So Monday through Friday, we'll run 7.5 hours a day. And you can see the main map that with the blue with the river on the side. Yep. That's existing route, and if we would add the Fulton portion on, I've got that on. Comes in a couple blocks or a block. So it does a loop towards the downtown and then right back out. If I got a calculator right, and all my numbers are based off of last fiscal year's numbers. So in the next 45 days, I'll be doing my year-end reports, and they might go up a little, or they never go down. They might go up a little bit. We're at $72.54 an hour based off of last year's numbers. So that's the numbers I've used for these calculations. For the time period that I've got, it's 69 operating days, so it's like $580.72 a day, Monday through Friday is what my cost is. And that is an 8-hour day. Bus is only out 7.5 because I have pre-trip stuff for the drivers prior to the bus going out, and then when it comes back in, cleaning fuel. So I just did an 8-hour clean slate, and it's 7.5 on the road. So if it happens the way that is 69 days, basically my total cost is roughly $40,000. I figured if the city of Fulton wanted to give this a try and see if you have the the needs there, if the people would really like to try it at 25%, basically around a little over $10,000 for those 69 days. With that, they get on the system over here. Basically, they're able to go anywhere on the public transit system within Clinton. So with the transfer or whatever, they would do they can, of course, they can do that now. They can buy our passes and ride a pass for the same price. Just got off the phone with DOT this afternoon. With that, whenever you provide a fixed route service, you have to have ADA door-to-door service for the individuals that cannot walk to your stop. So our rules are 3/4 of a mile. So you will have paratransit available 3/4 of a mile from that loop at the $2 at the city's rate. Now we're doing it at cost basis. Our paratransit's $36 an hour. So I think we're charging like 22 when we come over on. They're paying individuals and we do come over.
Sure.
We do the same thing with Comanche.
I have one quick question. They can cross the river, and I see your route in red goes to the main avenue.
This one does, yes.
But they could get off here and then hop on something that would take them out to
Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can
So
once they get to Clinton, they can access
They can
any
work
of the
anywhere,
routes.
yeah. So they can get across and get off right at the bridge,
Okay.
catch the main avenue coming back, actually be across the street at the bank, the National
Okay.
Bank, and run that down and they end up at Walmart.
Okay.
Be a couple transfers, but they pay one fare here. Each transfer's free. So it's from
okay.
point A to point B. So if it takes you 2 buses, it's $2 or $1 for an adult.
Okay.
You can't start your car for that. Can't start your bicycle for that. On our website, City Clinton website, the transit portion on the departments, we have a link that they can see where the buses are at. So it pings every 15 seconds, so you can see the routes wherever that. This will be on that. My door-to-door is not on that because there's a lot more personal information, like I'm coming to get my grandma for a doctor appointment. I don't want people to know
Right.
where they live and whatever, but the fixed route is for everybody. So the fixed route's on the internet where you can see exactly where it's at, or the customer can. Usually in the winter they don't want to stand outside too long, so they can wait till the last minute and then run out of there.
Okay.
They get to the corner on time. So our dispatch software, we track everything. So rides and miles. So I know how many rides we get from our locations here in Fulton, and how many miles. We will probably do that manually on the miles, because my miles is just basically for the route for the day. So that little jog is whatever it is, a mile or half mile. That will be just calculated manually. But the rides, we actually it can give us GPS coordinates for wherever the stop was at on the dispatch software. So I'm open for questions if you have any more.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Can we move this square to where we have property that we could maybe build a bus stop?
Depends how far.
Okay.
In time, say this really takes off.
Right.
This doesn't.
Right.
Or you guys want your own Fulton route.
Okay,
I mean, it can be done. You know,
Okay.
basically, we would come over, basically, we'd do a satellite transfer there at the bridge. And that Fulton bus would come over and train. So if, you know, I'm set up for, my buses from downtown are every half hour.
okay.
So every half hour, there's one going up Second Street and back. So in that half an hour's time, so they, because at the top of the hour, the bottom of the hour, they're taking off from downtown. So if there was the thought or the real need that you want that, and then basically to encompass the paratransit with that, I mean, obviously.
There is a city parking lot right here. Now, I know that the people would have to get there in their car, but like my dad's 92. He would gladly ride, take his car a few blocks, park it, and then, but we would need a parking lot, I think. But,
Would one of the churches work
Yeah.
closer? Because the farther I go, obviously, it takes time.
okay.
And that's why I'm giving you, 25%. I'm like, that's a very minimal.
Okay.
I get into your city farther, and it just takes time.
Yeah.
Traffic, and I will tell you this up front: if the bridge is shut down or whatever reason, we're on that side, we're
just
probably
don't
going to have to wait till they. Obviously, if somebody's over there and they need to come back home, we'll get them home, but we'll have to either take them with another vehicle through the South Bridge or whatever, because that happens. So you've got to be prepared for that if something like that would occur.
Well, I think it's positive. I've talked to some people. Has anybody else talked to anyone? Because I have heard some positive remarks. There's just a lot of kinks to work out, type thing. But it's worth. I think it's worth a try. But
My goal's always been to go to. Basically, we got three cities right together: Fulton, Clinton, and Comanche.
Yep.
And to tie that would be the ultimate goal. So they can go from Fulton all the way down to the south.
If there was a need, would it be possible to shift the hours, like 7:30 to 3:15 or something like that, just to accommodate people going to school or work? Need to be there by 8 a.m. or anything?
Yeah, I mean the one site that we have to give, basically what we're creating this for is Bridgeview.
Okay.
Out there on 19th. They moved out, and then they kind of slammed me through the newspaper. If you guys remember that, I had no contact with them, and they just moved. It's like, what the hell, excuse me, but, it's like public transit. That's what those people, a lot of people are going out there. We were transporting a lot to the Samaritan South Hospital, and there was, I don't know if they had talked to the some council or whatever, but I was not involved in that. So this is what we're trying to correct, is try to get a route to them. We've been doing it now. We're basically doing a shuttle service door to door for the last 2 years since they moved, and so they open up at 8. So that is a possibility. I mean, anything's possible.
Sure.
I mean, you just gotta work it a little bit, and anything's possible.
okay. Anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, I appreciate you coming. And Nick, would you like to add anything?
At this point, it looks like they're moving forward August 21st.
Okay.
So my suggestion is make it on the next council agenda a motion to approve or disapprove
Okay.
supporting the Clinton MTA
Trial.
in the amount of approximately $10,000. And bring that to the council and let you guys make that decision. Again, understanding that it's not a $10,000 item that was budgeted in the original budget, but there is monies in reserves that I think that facilitating $10,000 to try this. Like in a conversation some of you might have heard as well, if this does show interest, there's a lot of grants available for mass transit, and especially when you inundate the cross-bridge, multi-state, multi-jurisdiction, I think whether they apply for it on their end or what, that there's some financial assistance that's out there. We just got to find it. But it's not worth moving through those motions if one person rides in 3 months. So that would be.
And we'll have those statistics for you. So everything's right now, because we have to turn that in to the state,
Okay.
and then I think they turn it into the feds.
All right. Very good. We'll have
And
it on.
same with the city of Clinton. we didn't have this budgeted in our budget, because July 1st, we start our new budgets. So, I mean, this is, I will be going to council, and there'll be, I'm pretty much guaranteed it will be approved for the trial period.
Just because this is new to me, how do we determine what fund we pull that from then?
It would be from our general fund.
My recommendation, speaking on behalf of Dan Clark, I guess.
Yes.
My recommendation is just to pull it out of one of the already funded general fund items, but then in the end of the year at budget closeout, miscellaneous would be a great place for that to go, because you can track and, outgoes and incomes in that location. So it would still come out of this fiscal year's general fund budget, but there is monies and reserves that would be able to handle that at the end of the budget year.
And then going forward, if this happens to work, then we can create a line item
Correct.
for transportation and then budget for it, yes. So,
If this would go forward and it was a success, what kind of monies are we talking yearly for this?
You mean operational money?
Mm-hmm.
I figured up for just the Bridgeview alone, it was like $250,000 to run 12 hours. If we ran 12 hours a day, like some of their other routes, we probably wouldn't do that. We might have to do like 9 or 10 if we keep the Fulton on this particular route. But a standalone route, like 252 or something like that.
what would our yearly
That-
cost?
What would just full
That would be-
cost be?
What on yearly cost on if we just did that I'd have to figure that out, and we'd have to do it whether we'd have to come to agreement between the two cities of
Yes.
what's fair.
Right.
25% right now is just getting your feet wet
Yep.
and seeing if this is going to work for you.
Right, okay.
And I think that the big question is we do have different areas of town that we could like to see service brought to. Not that, getting a stop near the downtown area like he has listed here, moving one out by the Shell area and maybe one up by the school and then rounding it back around is also an option, if we have those interests. But that is something that they'll have to decide then. But again, break ground. Let's see if there's even the interest for this. Because if there's not, you know what? We've invested $10,000 into the needs of. We had plenty of people who have talked to us in the building. Hey, wish you guys had a way to get to Clinton. Wish I could get on a bus and go to Walmart. Well, that's what facilitated these conversations. So give it a try. And again, if there's grant money out there, I'm telling you, there's grant money out there that will probably fund a very big portion of this if you do it right. So.
Do you guys have like a Facebook page, or do you post in the paper, or is it just your website for your
We have
customers?
website's probably the best.
Okay.
Yeah, most current. Now, I don't know how Illinois operates tax-wise. We have a transit levy on the Iowa side, so we operate with a transit levy. So we are not general fund.
Okay.
So in our budget, we're a standalone enterprise, or whatever they call
Right.
it. So
You're a separate line
Yeah.
item.
And-
We would have to be that if we decided to
yeah,
do that
yeah,
permanently.
because then you have to go to the vote and all
That's
that.
right.
All of our buses, on our computers in the office, we have the GPS. They're on our maps right on the computers. I told you the fixed route has for the public is able to see where that route bus is at. Security cameras on every bus. We're actually switching over to the same thing that the police department has now, which we got the first one going. It's live. I got it on my phone. It's awesome. So
Good, that's a good safety feature.
you gotta have it. Today's
It helps
world.
the bus driver, you don't want to leave that bus driver out there by himself either, so. No, it's very interesting. I think it's worth checking out, and we'll talk about it. Think about it. Everybody think about it. Start asking people about it, and we'll bring it up it's worth a try to me anyway.
Did we say what fees were for children? Is it the same for everybody? Or
We'll do the same. So
Okay.
K through 12, as long as they're attending school ID, they're right free.
okay, all right.
Is that
Yeah, but they have, once they graduate, it's over. But they have keep their ID. It's all like, oh yes, show your ID. Otherwise, they pay 75 cents.
Oh, otherwise it's just, okay, so. Okay.
We like to have the
Yeah, the
IDs, so,
adults are
you know, the cameras, if they're gonna be rotting on the bus, we've got who they are, so then we can turn them over to the SRO, the school resource officers, and they can deal with them,
Very good.
so.
Would you have any opposition if we put this out on social media as a kind of a feeler?
No, absolutely not, no problem.
Just to promote it too, to get.
Well,
people-
and that's the thing, it's kind of a-
Yeah, so people know that it's something that we're offering.
Well,
And we're thinking about.
well, I would say I'd almost rather approve it, and let you approve
Yes.
it, than put it out.
And then put it
Yeah.
out.
Absolutely.
I don't wanna put it out and then not get approved and then
Right.
I'll say,
Yes.
Yeah, and if it happened and this works out well, and you guys decide, hey, we want our own to cover, I mean, I think we can do a pretty good size of Bolton. I haven't really looked at it, you know, because I'm still on such a time restraint, but basically to have a standalone bus over here, loop around to the, you know, to the National Bank on the other side to get on the main lines, I think we can get out pretty, you know, down and over,
Okay.
you know, pretty good. So with your assistance, we work that out.
And we can tweak it as we go, right?
Yes.
You know, if there's, okay, very good. It'll be on next agenda, okay? Lori, you got that?
could you imagine a bus that drives around here at 7:30 in the morning and picks up a bunch of kids and brings them to the school?
You know, there used to be such a thing.
I know.
I know. All right.
School buses
Well,
run in town? They live, okay.
we don't have an in-town busing service anymore, so we used to have in-town busing,
Well,
but
you know,
we do
because
not.
it's so long and narrow, they do bus a lot of the kids, you know,
Mhm.
and they've reduced the state law is, which I don't think I'd probably, you know, depends on where I'm at, but where you live, but they reduced the mileage requirements from 2 to a mile and a half or a mile and some, like K through 6 or something like that, and then high school went from up to 3 miles down to 2 miles. So they bus more than they are required by state law
Oh, there we go.
over there, and that's gone on for quite a few years, which kind of crazy because you got the transit system running past every school almost in town, and they run the school bus too. So
There you go. Very good. Any other questions? Otherwise, thank you very much.
all right, thank you.
We'll see how it goes.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
We'll give you an answer if we have more questions.
Good. We go on to the second page, and I just have on there that Eric's on vacation. He's seeking bids for the cost of the restrooms that we talked about last time with the ARPA money, so that's coming. Number 3 is the application for the city administrator is enclosed. It just mimics what the police department puts out, only it's, you know, made for the city administrator and a little bit more concise. There we go. And so if there's any questions or that, it's quite detailed, and I think we need that for what we're looking for. So I was excited to see it, and we wanted to share it with you. So we go on to committee reports, and we have very few, as I'm thinking. I'll go down the list. Finance?
No, not really.
No. Personnel, that's ours as far as what's in the packet. Economic development, you guys did meet, but you want to have minutes for next time?
Yep.
Okay. Parks and Rec,
We meet next week.
okay. Public Safety, Terry Boonster was going to report on NIMS, but now Keith is.
We found out that as the city, and if we had a mass disaster,
I need you to speak up, Keith, I'm sorry, because for that thing right there.
if we have a disaster in the city, and we have to call outside the city resources, in order to get that state and federal funding, we have to be NIMS compliant, which includes every one of us as aldermen or alderpersons. Van Dellen was there. He had mentioned that he could probably set it up on a Saturday morning at the fire station. We can all go down there, take the classes we need. Wouldn't take long. But if we don't, if one of us is not compliant with it, if something happens, they'll still send us the resources, but we're gonna open up our checkbook and pay for it. Where if we're all compliant, then the state or federal level will pay for it. So we're gonna work with Boyd and get that set up. And before we get a firm date, we'll talk to everybody and make sure we can get a date that the most of us can be there. And I know it's hard to get all of us there at one time.
About how long is it going to be, Keith?
Probably just the morning. Yeah.
What's NIM stand for?
National Incident Management System.
So all of us council members have to, I mean, not just a couple. So one of us on this council,
Is
we're not.
And we're not compliant.
This was brought to the attention 3 years ago,
Yes.
and it just fell on deaf ears then. So
Yeah.
Is this a new requirement? Have
No.
we ever done this in the past?
we've just not been compliant in the
We've
past.
just not been
Yeah.
compliant.
And luckily we haven't had the meeting.
No.
No, it would be the NIMS 100 and 700 is the general, the two courses that would be recommended for all of the council members. I would even say, as the city attorney, I would suggest, at least understanding the confines. You probably have, maybe from the Army.
I'm familiar with somebody.
4 hours tops would
Yeah.
probably meet the requirement. The mayor and mayor pro tem both would be required to have the upper level ICS incident management, which would be 300 and 400, and then some additional ones above and beyond that. Those are 2-day in-person courses. Those are usually put on in Glenview, or you can get them out in Des Moines and stuff like that. So,
Well, geez, Jeff.
Putting us to work.
No, I think it's a good idea. I brought it up when I started. I think we need to be compliant, and there are monies out there. Like when the derecho came through, we could have got some federal monies if we are all compliant, and I don't think that's bad. I will say, I was a Brownie leader for 4 years, and I'm not kidding you. What we had to do to be compliant, to be a Brownie leader, was go to Rockford almost every other month, and I had to be certified in cooking hot dogs. You have to be certified. I mean, and it's just something that is a safety issue that is really something that I think we should all do it. And I don't think you'll regret it. I think it's a good thing to know.
It's
I've
not
been on
bad.
it 12 years and never
Yeah.
even been told about this.
Yes.
Well, I checked into it a while back, and I was thinking it was one person on the council had to be qualified, which at that time I had the classes we need.
the problem goes like this. If Keith's not here and something happens, you have to have the people who are trained on the council to be able to be part of that incident command structure to meet those requirements if audited by the federal government or while seeking assistance.
Yes.
So just because Keith holds the certifications and I hold the ICS 300 and 400, which is fantastic, and I should by my job anyway, as should the city administrator, because if I'm not here and I'm on vacation, it's the city administrator's responsibility to be that upper level incident command member with an elected official, which elected official that chooses to be at the time. And as was described, say a tornado goes through here, and I hate to say this, but half of you are no longer with us. We have to have the people who meet those federal requirements to be part of that board. So it's something that should have been done.
It should have been done.
Post 9/11 is when the big push with this happened.
Yeah.
And this has been out under a presidential directive since 2004 as orders by the federal government. But a lot of municipalities just don't meet those requirements.
So if something would happen, what would we be required to do then?
You would be part of it would depend on the situation, but you would be required to report here or the fire department or the elementary school, which are all listed as incident command locations. You'd be there to help answer questions, facilitate needs of citizens. You're fielding phone calls, you're answering phones, you're helping facilitate some of those different things.
we would be the team
Yep.
that works together to coordinate the city's needs.
No, it was a good opportunity to finally get some input. Terry and Keith and bringing Boyd into the fold to meet some of these things. I think it was a good chance, good opportunity to start really. I've got a working document over the last 2 years, but I really needed some help to get some other things knocked out with it. So.
And that was the second part of it, is we are making progress
Good.
on our emergency plan.
Very good.
Thanks to Nick.
More to come.
He's done a lot of the legwork.
Very
stuff,
good.
So,
Well, we will hear more
right.
from you as it gets closer.
I guess my question is if it's about a 4-hour class, do you want to do all 4 at one time, or do we split it up in 2?
I think
Let's
we
do it and
all-
get it done.
Do it and get it done?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's my opinion. You ask the rest of them.
You'd rather split, Jeff?
Either way, we could just knock it out, or if it's
Yeah.
more convenient, yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I think just,
Well,
I just
I'll see if we
assume
can do
waste time.
either option, and then we'll bring in what.
And this isn't something that we're going to do like next month.
Yeah,
Right.
it's going to be a little
So,
bit.
like, we've waited over 12 years too.
Yeah.
We'll get it done. Don't worry.
And the new CA will have to go through this protocol too, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Very good.
And then,
Perfect.
like Nick said, Jeff, you're going to have the same certification she does.
Yep.
And I'll probably have all them too.
Very good. All right, we go on to Marina. Is there any report from the Marina? Tourism. Zoning. We go on to my report, and as you can see, the TIF agreement is agreed upon, and it is in the hands of the attorneys. So you guys are working on a closing date and doing all those wonderful things, but it's moving forward. Shake your head. Yes, Rebecca.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I
But
have.
I have gotten the electronic copies
Okay.
from Bill of the prior agreements that we were missing.
Oh, I got them for you too. And we'll just have to see.
I had
Good.
his paper file, but everything has markings on it, so I have the
Yeah.
copies.
Very good. I have it right here. And then the only thing I have else to report is I'm heading to DC tonight. Actually, we're going to stay in Chicago, and then we have meetings Tuesday all day, Wednesday all day, and Thursday until 1:45. On Illinois side, we're going to meet with Durbin, we'll meet with Eric Sorensen, and we meet with Tammy Duckworth. I will tell you Tammy Duckworth's office, and I don't know if it's because she's newly elected, but they are on it. They're, her assistants have asked us lots of questions and need and things like that, and so fingers crossed, wish me luck. I'm going for some money, so we'll hopefully get some out of that. I think it's always a good thing to look them in the face and ask them. We have a booklet that was created that's different because Clinton is asking for a north. You know how the road goes on the dike on the south side from like Wendy's? They want it to go all the way to the boat ramp, and so that's what they're requesting. We're requesting monies for the downtown development and more. I'm going to see whatever we can get. So hopefully that will be good. And I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a whole new experience for me and going into the White House and all of that. It should be interesting. So, any reports from the alderpersons? No, everybody's shaking their head. Let's go. City administrator, none. And chief of police, none. Public Works, Eric's on vacation. Historical Society, none. But we do need to go into closed session for personnel. So I'm going to ask for a motion
So moved.
Second that motion.
and then roll call, and I have to ask the rest of you to leave this
Thank you guys.
Because you'll want to get that recorded.